The Club World Cup is less than 2 weeks away, and today we're going to take a look at the chip strategy that you might want to adopt for the upcoming fantasy game. We're going to take a look at all of the different chips or boosters that they are called and when you could potentially use them so that you can pick the best strategy for your team. If you do enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Club World Cup fantasy content. And if you have any ideas of any more videos that you would like to see, make sure to drop it in the comments section. Let's jump straight into it. So in this game, chips are known otherwise as boosters, and we are going to have 4 of them in this tournament. Starting off, we have our wild card, which is a popular fantasy chip. We see it in essentially every single fantasy game, and most of us, if you've played fantasy football before, are going to know what the wild card is. Essentially, it gives you an unlimited amount of transfers to use in one round. You cannot use it in match day 1 or match day 4, which is going to be obviously the first match of the tournament and the round of 16 as well. So if you've been following me for a while, you'll know I like to use most of my chips in the early stages when the easier teams are in the tournament. For example, we are seeing a lot of poor teams like Auckland City, who are a team in New Zealand, ranked very, very low on Opta's EA power rankings. So we want to be using our chips to maximise the teams who are going to be playing against them, the likes of Bayern Munich in match day 1, Benfica in match day 2 and stuff like that. So I think using all of these chips as early as possible is going to be the best move. So obviously with that wild card not being available in match day 1, we're really going to be looking at match day 2 or match day 3 for that one. The other chips we've got is the 12th man chip. This allows you to select one additional player without any team or budget restrictions. Obviously they cannot be captained or substituted as well, so this lets you add in another player to your starting 11 outside of any budget restrictions, so you can pick the most expensive player you want. If you use your 100 million budget, you can pick another 10 million player on top of that if you wanted, and outside of team restrictions as well. So in the group stage, we're only allowed 3 players per team. This 12th man will be outside of that, so you can pick a 4th player from any team for whichever round you do want to go for them. Thirdly, we have our maximum captain, which is going to captain your highest scoring player throughout an entire match day. So you've obviously got 15 players to choose from. The maximum captain chip is just going to give you double points for whoever scored the most in your entire team for that game day. So you want to be using that in a week where a lot or most of your players have a really good fixture. That way it's quite difficult to choose a captaincy, and you can just chuck on the maximum captain chip and it's going to pick whoever is going to get the most points for your team and double them. And lastly, we have the mystery booster, which we aren't going to find out what it does until the round of 16 opens up. So once the group stages are finished, this mystery chip will come into play and we'll see what that actually does. We'll have more videos than that, obviously, of course, when that does get revealed. So obviously we have 3 match days in the group stage and obviously 3 chips to use. So the best course of action is probably going to be using all 3 boosters in the first 3 match days. So looking at specifically match day 1, trying to pick the best possible team for match day 1. These are some of the good fixtures that we do have available. So a lot of us, if you have built a first draft already, are going to be targeting a lot of these games. You're probably going to have triple Bayern, a lot of Man City players, a couple of Juventus in there, a River Plate, a Flamengo player. You probably have some of those as well. Borussia Dortmund are playing against Fluminense. There is obviously a lot of teams that a lot of us probably don't know in here, so whether trying to read the abbreviations is going to be a little bit of an issue. That's why I have added the badges in there as well, so hopefully that does help a little bit. But obviously trying to pick the best possible team for match day 1, you're going to have this team for match day 2 and match day 3 as well. We're only getting 2 transfers in between match days, so we are going to have the majority of the same team in match day 2 and match day 3 if you weren't to use any boosters. So under the assumption that we're going to have a lot of these teams in match day 1, looking at their match day 2 and match day 3 fixtures, it's very obvious where the difficult fixtures come into play. Obviously a lot of our teams in match day 1 have a pretty decent fixture again in match day 2, but then in match day 3 is where the difficult teams start to play against each other. The likes of Bayern Munich playing against Benfica, Manchester City are playing against Juventus, River Plate and Inter, who we're also going to have a few players from each are going to be playing against each other as well. So very straight off the start, we are looking probably a wild card in match day 3. We're going to have the same team for match day 1 and match day 2, and then a wild card in match day 3 before getting unlimited transfers in the round of 16. Instantly it looks like a really good option. We spoke about this on our live stream. We've done a planning live stream a couple of days ago, and this really looked like the best option. There's really no need to wild card in match day 2 because a lot of the teams with a good good fixture in match day 1, also have a good fixture in match day 2, then match day 3 is where it gets a little bit more difficult. We're also probably going to see a lot of teams already through in the group stages as they go into match day 3 and potentially rotating as well. So a wild card just to essentially give you a free hit in match day 3 is looking like a really good option. So now we're left with 2 more boosters. It's the 12th man and the maximum captain, and one of these is going to have to go into match day 1 and the other into match day 2. So firstly, looking at the 12th man booster in match day 1, we've got our best fixtures along the top here. We've got 6 good fixtures: Bayern against Auckland, Manchester City against Wydad, Juventus against Al Ain, Inter Milan against Monterrey, Real Madrid against Al Hilal, and then Chelsea have LAFC. So obviously with our 12th man, the position with the most potential is going to be at striker. We're only allowed 3 strikers in our entire 15-man squad, so this 12th man allows you to bring in a 4th one. So we've got a list of potential forwards here. We've got Kane, Haaland, Marmoush, Mbappe, Vinicius Jr., Lautaro Martinez, Thuram, Yildiz, Kolo Muani and Jackson, all players with a decent fixture heading into match day 1, and obviously you are only able to pick 3 of these, so this 12th man does give you that option of potentially picking another one. I think based on the easiest fixtures, most people are going to have Kane and Haaland because they're playing against probably 2 of the worst teams available. So your other striker is going to be either one of these guys or a cheaper option like a Samu from Porto is someone who I've got in my team currently. So obviously this 12th man with the unlimited budgets and no team restrictions is going to let you pick any of these guys with a decent fixture, obviously with no issues at all. Now another option that you could do, obviously with no team restrictions, is potentially bringing in a 4th Bayern player. Now Auckland are a very, very poor side. They are clearly the worst side in the tournament, and they are ranked lower in the Opta power rankings than national sides in the National League that just got relegated. So I'm expecting Bayern Munich to do very well in this. I believe Auckland are something like 90-1 to win this match, so Bayern are heavy favourites and of course are expected to score a lot of goals in that. So having 4 players from Bayern could be very, very useful. You've got the likes of Kane, Olise, Musiala, Guerrero in defence, maybe an Upamecano. You've got Joshua Kimmich as well. Lots of good options that you could potentially have. I think that Bayern triple up is essential off the start. It's just whether you want to pick that 4th man is another option as well. Now in match day 2 it's also a decent opportunity to use that 12th man chip. I think you've got more options available. You can see there is up to 8 good fixtures here with our good teams. Dortmund are coming in up against Mamelodi Sundowns. It is Man City and Juventus swapping fixtures this time. City with Al Ain and Juventus with Wydad. Inter Milan are up against the Urawa Red Diamonds. Real Madrid have Pachuca. Benfica have the easy fixture in Auckland this time round. Atalanta play against Seattle Sounders, and PSG have Botafogo. So again, any striker from here has got potential to do well. We've got a list of 12 strikers down here. We've got Guirassy, Haaland, Marmoush, Mbappe, Vinicius Jr., Griezmann, Thuram, Martinez, Yildiz, Kolo Muani, Pavlidis and Alvarez. So roughly the same group of players as match day 1, but a couple of extra options in there, the likes of Griezmann and Alvarez and Pavlidis with good fixtures as well. So again, another option to potentially just bring in another 4th striker, or you could bring in someone who didn't have a good fixture in match day 1. For example, PSG and Atletico Madrid play against each other in match day 1. If you don't want to use one of your 2 transfers on some of these players, you could potentially bring in someone like a Dembele or a Hakimi with your 12th man chip and save yourself a transfer where PSG play against Botafogo, or you could do the same thing with Griezmann and Alvarez. Obviously playing against PSG in match day 1, you're not going to have them in your team. Saving yourself a transfer, you could use the 12th man chip and bring in one of those guys against Seattle Sounders. Now moving on to the maximum captaincy, obviously we're wanting to be picking this in a match day where you've got the highest amount of players with good fixtures. So these are some of the players available in match day 1 with a good fixture. You kind of just want to look at your team and see who you've got and obviously decide on how hard the captaincy is going to be to choose. I think more likely the captaincy is going to go on a Bayern Munich player, so someone like Harry Kane or Olise is going to be the best option, but you do have lots of other options if those guys don't do too too well, or if there is maybe some Bayern rotation up front in the first leg. It does obviously give you that backup of maybe an Erling Haaland doing well, maybe Mbappe or Vinicius do well, or even someone from like Flamengo who have a nice game against Esperance, I want to say they're called. Someone like a Diarra, I've probably butchered his name, but if he goes and scores a hat-trick for Flamengo, then he could easily just take your captaincy there. So you've got a large range of players who do obviously have good fixtures, and this chip does look like it could be really good. I do think another use of this chip in match day 1 could just be getting that right Bayern captain. If you're going to have Harry Kane and Elise and Musiala, it really is just covering all your bases for whoever scores more goals against Auckland. You know, Harry Kane, if he maybe only scores 1 goal, is probably going to be the most captain player in match day 1. If Elise goes and outscores him, obviously he could potentially take your captaincy as well. So you're really just covering all bases. Any Manchester City player, any Bayern Munich player, whoever does the best is essentially taking the double points that week. In match day 2, it is the same. Again, a lot of good fixtures for a lot of our players. Again, bringing in the Atletico players and the PSG players. I think most people are going to be using their transfers in match day 2 to bring in PSG players after match day 1. So players like Ousmane Dembele and Hakimi and Nuno Mendes kind of gives you that option as a captaincy there, as well as again Juventus, Man City, Bayern, all with good fixtures, Inter Milan as well. So again, just covering off your bases. So it's very difficult. You know, every match day 1 and match day 2, both have a big spread of good fixtures, so it's really going to be difficult to choose. As we look at them side by side, however, it just kind of shows you how difficult it could be. So we've got the predicted goals based on 11ifi's predictions, and we've got match day 1's predicted goals and match day 2's predicted goals. So as we see, Bayern Munich against Auckland are expected to score 4.78 goals, which is obviously absolutely massive. We're looking at up to 5 goals minimum for Bayern Munich. Man City have a really nice one with 3.49, and Chelsea have over 3 as well. But when we look at match day 2, what you're seeing is a lot less in terms of, you know, like I feel like in match day 1 there's a smaller group of teams expected to score a lot of goals, but in match day 2 I think there's more of a spread of teams that can score quite a few. For example, we're looking at all 8 teams here in match day 2 expected to score over 2.5 goals. In match day 1, you know, there's only 6 teams expected to score over 2.5, but a lot more teams expected to score over 3, and obviously Bayern Munich with 4.78. So looking at them both in total, you know, very, very close, only 0.2 more in match day 1 than there is in match day 2. So the maximum captain is really looking good in both match days. I think there's not really going to be too much between match day 1 and match day 2 and which one you choose for the 12th man and the maximum captain. So personally, what I've put together is kind of some options that you could go for, whether that's going to be the 12th man or the max captain in match day 1 and match day 2. So if it was me, match day 1, I think that 4th Bayern player is going to be a really popular pick and a decent option as well. Obviously, Musiala is a little bit of a doubt right now, so if he is going to be fit, he's probably going to be a really good option for your 4th man. I think a lot of people are going to have Kane, Elise, Guerrero in their starting 11, and Musiala is going to be a really good one to bring in as your 12th man. That obviously allows you to maximise the Bayern players against Auckland, scoring potentially up to 5 goals and having 3 attackers and a defender in there as well. The other option, I think the best one's maybe going for an Mbappe or a Vinicius Jr. I don't think they're going to be in a lot of starting 11s, as a lot of people are going to have Kane and Haaland with the easier fixture. So I don't think that premium front 3 is going to be a big choice. So an Mbappe or a Vinicius Jr. with the unlimited budget restrictions could be a good move against Al Hilal. In terms of the maximum captain in match day 1, I think it's really just prioritising your double points from your best scoring Bayern player. I think is going to be the main focus there. Obviously there is other teams with really good fixtures like Man City, Juventus, but I think the main thing is going to be your Bayern player. I think the highest scoring player in the match day is probably going to come from Bayern Munich, so it is just covering your bases. So I think personally off the start, I do think the 12th man looks a little bit better in match day 1, but when we look at match day 2, you've just got a lot more options with the 12th man. For example, Griezmann and Alvarez, you wouldn't have them against PSG in match day 1. Pavlidis, the exact same, you probably wouldn't have him in match day 1 playing against Boca Juniors, and Dembele as well, you probably aren't going to have him in match day 1 playing against Atletico Madrid. So I think with the 12th man, you're saving yourself a hit. That is what I'm kind of looking at it as anyway, because I think there's a lot of transfers that could be made in match day 2 with PSG players, with Benfica players, and with Atletico players players, and only having 2 transfers, I think the 12th man could be a really good use to save yourself 3 points and picking up yourself another striker, because obviously if you are going to have Kane and Haaland, you're probably going to want one of Pavlidis, Griezmann, Alvarez, and if you want 2, then that's exactly what the 12th man is going to be for. And then when we look at the maximum captain in match day 2, you've got 8 or more teams predicted to score over 2.5 goals. So we already looked at the max captain, and I don't really think there is going to be too much differentiating there. I think it is going to be very useful in both match days, so I think when you're picking whichever chip to use in match day 1 or 2, you're really going to just be looking at what the best time to use the 12th man chip is going to be. And personally, I think in match day 2 the 12th man is going to be a little bit better, because it is going to save yourself taking a hit, whereas in match day 1 you're really just adding in an extra Bayern Munich player. So that's kind of the options I think that you do have available to yourself. Obviously you can make your own decision, but personally myself, I'm going to be looking at something like this. I think I'm going to use the maximum captain in match day 1. I think this is a little bit different than what we decided on stream. In match day 1, I like the maximum captaincy option because there is a higher overall predicted goals, just a little bit, so this isn't a huge reason as to why I've picked this for match day 1. The main thing is having the highest scorer from Bayern, Man City, and you know, the teams with good fixtures. I've picked a lot of Flamengo players, I've picked a lot of River Plate players. I say a lot, I've picked 1 or 2 from River Plate and Flamengo, and if they do really well with their easy fixtures, then I'd be happy to have obviously my captaincy on there. Bayern, I'm still going to have triple Bayern, I'm still going to have triple Man City as well, so I'm still covering my bases in a sense. But when using the 12th man in match day 2, I get to bring in a player who I wouldn't have in match day 1 and save myself a hit of -3. Again, I've got a list of players who could be really good for that 12th man: Dembele, Hakimi, Mendes, Griezmann, Alvarez, Pavlidis, Mbappe and Vinicius Jr. A lot of good options who I probably am going to own in match day 1, and I've obviously only got 2 transfers to bring in as many of those players as possible, so I get to minimise the use of hits in match day 2, which I think is going to be a little bit more useful for myself personally in match day 2 than match day 1. And then of course in match day 3 we're going to be using the wild card. Like I said already at the start, a lot of teams will have already qualified and be looking to rotate, and a lot of the big teams, a lot of players that I will own, have a difficult fixture in match day 3 as well. So that's going to be my chip strategy. Let me know down in the comments which one you prefer. Do you prefer the 12th man in match day 1, or do you prefer the 12th man in match day 2? Make sure to let me know. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe as well if you are new for more Club World Cup fantasy content, and I'll see you all in the next video.